Whoa. Whoa. All right, crew. We're out here in a different location than you normally see. The desert Southwest, beautiful South Mountain. And of course, that means we're here at the man, Rob Drew.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Welcome to South Mountain Land.
What we're gonna do today is we're gonna hit the trail. We're gonna do another how-to, but we're gonna do one that's focused around one of Rob's favorite things in the world. What is that, Rob?
Lifts, climbing, lifts.
Probably the most frustrating element that we work with is lifts, because it's really hard to get lucky on lifts. You got to apply the technique. So I'm always excited to go to school with the master, Rob Drew. So I say we roll on up, find our spot, and get to it. So are you ready, Rob Drew?
I'm ready.
All right.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Yeah, so this spot right here at the top of the fire road is kind of nice because it's got a lot of different options that you can test, from lower level, beginner level stuff to intermediate on up to expert, some really big and steep challenges. So this is going to be a good place for us to demonstrate the exercises we're going to teach you, or that we like to utilize.
Yeah.
And why and how, and
Okay.
hope you can get it.
Okay. So is this, we're going to use
Yeah, this
spot
first
as
little shoot
our beginner spot.
is our beginner spot. It's an upward climb with some obstacles in it that are going to require that you keep your momentum. And then to the left, you can see we can mix in some actual lifts.
Okay. So good spot.
This is a good spot.
We're going to do it.
We'll move some of this debris and
Okay.
demonstrate.
All right. Cut. We good? We're rolling? Okay. So we'll talk technical climbing. Made a video about it a while ago. Didn't have you in that video, of course, the master of technical climbing. So if I haven't made it clear, Rob is very good at climbing. Climbing is about technique. It's not about power. So I think that's something that's very important. A lot of people try to power through things. So let's take a beginner rider. Maybe you're up here with your wife. What are you gonna say to somebody? Like, what do we start with? What's the basis for what's gonna happen right here?
So the fundamental thing I like to tell people is you don't have to get back momentum you don't lose. So starting with that fundamental point, if you can find a way to get up these lifts on a climb in a manner that doesn't slow the bike down every time you hit one, that's going to allow you to use less effort, become less tired by the top, and get further easier.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now let's back way up. What are some things that have to happen as I'm leading up to this?
You've got to be aware of the fact that your biggest tool, your biggest asset is your mass.
Okay.
So you need to be anticipating where do you need to move your mass in conjunction with the suspension on the
Okay,
bike
so hang on.
to get it to do what you want.
Okay, so let's back up.
Nuance.
I know, but
There's
let's
so
back
much
up.
to it.
Let's back up even more.
Okay.
As somebody's approaching this,
Yes.
what does the position look like? Is my seat down? Am I standing up? Am I in the 52 tooth?
You need the seat in a position, probably not maxed out, but efficient pedaling position. You need a platform to put your weight against. So you're going to be using your weight.
You're
seated
generally
correctly. Seated.
So some of you out there watch this going, dude, you can't be seated. And at the ride series, we see this all the time. People stand up. If you're standing up, you don't have leverage. You can't roll or rock your mass against the seat, right?
Correct.
So think about being in the saddle. Maybe the seat's not all the way up, but you're in the saddle. Okay, that's the first thing. Second is, what's your gear choice?
My gear choice is going to be based on what the terrain looks like. I want to be turning the pedals as slowly as I can and have enough power to climb.
Okay.
The faster you're spinning the pedals, you'll always see people go to the easiest gear. The faster you're spinning the pedals, every time your foot comes down, it's a chance you can pedal strike something.
Yes.
So if you can reduce the number of chances to pedal strike by being in a harder gear, not so hard that you can't pedal,
okay,
but a hard enough gear that you can perform the task without over revving.
Makes perfect sense. Now, let's start breaking that down a little bit more. Okay, so now Rob brought up something.
A real quick disclaimer, because I've seen some reactions to some of the videos, especially the how-tos you've done in the past.
Yep.
What we're talking about here are these specific circumstances. I'm not making any blanket statements that say in every circumstance, everywhere, you do this. What I'm saying is, in this circumstance, we're going to show you how to address it, and we're going to expressly talk about a technique that's very versatile if you make minor adjustments to it. So
Okay,
hopefully
so yeah, that I want that.
hopefully
point
that covers
to come
us.
across. What we're saying will apply in other places with some changes, inputs, and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on my bike and walk me through this, dude.
Yeah.
That's all right. Let's go.
This is a great place to start. It's got one small lift, about 6 inches, and then it's a pretty flat ascent. So once all you really have to manage is this one obstacle, and then you can pedal through. So what I'd like you to do is ride into it in your seated pedaling position, and don't do anything but ride into it. You can come into it a little quicker, I think.
I'll make it up though.
What I'm trying to illustrate is how much you just running into that slows your momentum.
Okay.
Even if you make it, it's not going to be your front wheel will make it. It's going to be, does your back wheel get up it when you lose that momentum? Yeah, you can even go a little harder than that. I just feel like you're trying not to make it, and that's not playing how I think it needs to play. You're on an e-bike, don't forget. It's going to make this Specialized e-bike look terrible.
So I'm on the
Yeah,
e-bike.
do it like you're trying to make it. All right, so hopefully what you might have seen is a vast reduction in his speed when he hits this obstacle. Now do it with a little bit of weight shift.
Okay, so
Just to illustrate the difference between just riding into it and manipulating your weight.
so basically all I'm gonna do is same, forward, back.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
so Rich will come in, he'll move his torso forward, load the front to get some rebound built, pull back, get the front end light. He won't even have to lift the wheel off, just unload the suspension and let the front wheel soak up that bump. Obviously,
Man, that
he's
was
going
easy.
uphill, so he's still got to put some effort in, but the bike doesn't notice that bump if you can get the bike over that bump. So, you know, basically, here's the obstacle. If you could create a straight line over it, you're going to be able to get up with much less effort.
So here's one thing that people tend to express issues with, and that's the timing. And at the Ride Series, we see that it's the timing. When do I do that? You have to do it at the right time.
The timing
There's
is before you hit it.
Yeah, there's no set time. So again, if I'm moving back and the weight is off the front, the bike can come right up into me.
Yeah.
So
All these techniques, unfortunately, are something that takes practice. We can't take it out of our pocket and hand it to you and have you be effective at it. But if you practice and you figure out what that timing is, then you can apply that same metric in different circumstances and you'll have tremendous results.
now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to a little bit more complex section with a couple of lifts
Yeah.
and break this down that way.
All right, Rich, so with this one, you're gonna do the initial lift of the front wheel, and then you wanna come off that platform, stand up, and use the movement of your torso to bring the bike along through the after bumps.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So you had a little stall at the top of it,
Yep.
and you can power through it with the SL, obviously. But if you make that shift a little bit quicker and more aggressively, you can pull the bike right through
Okay.
a little smoother.
Okay.
Yeah, that was perfect. Look good, smooth.
All right, so
All right, so now we move to something that's a little bit more challenging. As you can see, the opening, the overhang of this is taller than the axle line, which means the wheel will not roll over it. So this is one where you're really gonna have to lift the wheel. You're gonna have to get the wheel up at least halfway, let the suspension do the rest. But then you gotta deal with the rear. Again, because the overhang is big enough, the back wheel's not just gonna roll up behind you. Okay. You've gotta shift your weight, you've gotta lift your bike. Lift, shift, pull. You remember those
shift,
three
pull,
things.
dude. I remember those things. So
Important elements
let me
for life.
ask you this. Generally speaking, how would you rate this lift?
As far as on a
Beginner, intermediate, advanced?
this would certainly be an intermediate lift.
Okay,
because
so
it's
yeah.
going uphill. It's the surface you're getting onto is going uphill. You can't give up any way along. You got to commit all the way
Okay,
through.
now let's do a bash check on this. So you get the front up.
You get the front
Is
up.
it going to clear?
Well, that's with no weight on it. So it's possible with your weight on it, you could strike.
Okay.
So you definitely need to make sure you're getting your shift done before the chain ring arrives,
Okay.
or else you're going to get a surprise.
Now, so we talk about lift. You got to rock the torso forward, back
Pull
to get
back,
the lift.
pull back. Once you know you've made the lift, you got to start transferring your weight forward so you can pull against that moving mass to pick the back up.
All right.
Now for me, I ride clipped in, so it's a little bit easier to pull. There's a way to do it in flats. A lot of people can. They're better than me, but you need to shift your weight a little bit differently for that.
All right. You want to show us how it's done?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
You got that?
I think so.
All right.
Any tips?
Don't fail.
Don't fail.
Watch your chain ring.
So how about this though? Very quickly, let's talk about, we're on the Levo SL.
Correct.
So we got a little bit of power.
Yep.
So what's the difference? What's the nuance with the Levo SL?
Well, the biggest thing I would say is, yes, you have some power and it helps you, but the problem is if you've got to hit a reset or stop the pedals, you lose the power. So if you're leaning on it,
Okay.
when it goes away, it's like a crutch.
All right.
So make sure that you come in with enough speed that you're not reliant on the motor,
Okay.
and execute the steps like you would on an analog bike.
Okay. So yeah, this for me, I'm not used to this. We don't have stuff like this in Bentonville. So I've been riding the SL for a long time. but I
Bentonville
haven't
trail
done this.
builders need to build some stuff like this. Lifts, lifts, lifts.
All right, dude. I'll give it a try.
All right.
Tried a little hard on that one.
Good job, man. That was smooth. How'd it feel?
I think I pulled a little over pull.
Yeah, you were a little
front.
more aggressive on the lift in the front, which, you know, on something of that size, it's okay. But when you get to something bigger, that time delay you create over lifting is going to be time you can't afford to give up.
So it's funny that that really isn't the case for me anywhere but here.
Yeah.
And like we explained it to people at the ride series, it starts to bleed together. One turns into two. So
Yes.
thankfully,
When the obstacle gets big enough, everything blends together into like one seamless move.
thankfully, we don't have to deal with that.
Well, you
in
got to deal with it
today's
right here.
Episode.
Yeah. Let's see if you can handle this girl.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
Really?
You get the lift and the climb all in once.
Yeah, I might have to go
mixing
to.
the-
I might have to go
put
to
it in
level
power
3
mode.
on the Levo. Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I'll hit it for you. I'll
All
show you
right.
how you're done.
All right.
Okay, so this one's only slightly bigger on the overhang, but it's very sharp, so if you hit it with the bottom of the bike, you could do some damage. And about 3 feet up, you've got another little lift. And so you've got to be dealing with that little lift as you're trying to navigate the back up here, and then it's uphill all the way. So it's pretty challenging.
Yeah, that's.
Mixing some good elements.
I-
You ready?
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we'll see, dude. I don't know. Oh man. What do you think? I don't think mine's gonna look like that.
Let's see what you got. You know the steps.
All right.
Put them to work.
What gear did you do it in?
I dropped down to 4th gear for that one. You want to make sure you got the power since it's going uphill. You got this.
What am I in?
27th gear.
4th is 4 from the top.
4 down from the big guy. Get it, girl. This should be good. He's got this covered. I think it's Specialized bike if he hits the chainring.
Oh, you're okay. I'm going. Dude, that's really big.
Ominous. Oh, thank goodness for that Levo power. There you have it, buddy.
It wasn't pretty, but it worked.
I didn't hear anything
That's
break,
big,
so that's
dude.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good test.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, you can't overlift because you don't have enough time.
Yeah, no, you got to
But-
get the back wheel on and get back to the pedals.
The thing that's most difficult about this though is the upward angle. So
That's
like
the
as
key.
soon as you
because
get
you're
up,
going uphill, you got to stay. It's like the left line of the triangle.
yeah, dude, and it's more like steady feed in
Yeah.
of the power.
Yep.
So yeah, dude,
Modulation.
This is
Proper modulation.
Yeah. So hopefully you got a little insight there into technical climbing. It's something we could talk about over and over again, but I figured we're here, we're at South Mountain, we have Rob.
Home of the lifts.
Try to break it down a little bit. It was fun. You know, I always like doing this. I think we're gonna go hit some more. I'm gonna try this a few more times, and
Sure.
we'll take the Levo SLs out, climb up National, show Andy what National looks like.
What the goods
and
here
go
have to
some fun.
offer. Hopefully we've given you a couple more tools for your tool belt. Go out and put them to work.
yeah, follow along behind the scenes, a lot of good stuff at the Rob Drew, at the Rich Drew. Hopefully you're a subscriber. You may or may not see some more of this, dude. Drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts.
If you want more Rob Drew, let Rich know. If you don't, keep it to yourself.
I was about to say let Rich know. All right, so we're gonna get after it. Have fun, stay positive out there. You wanna end the video? You can do it however you want.
Peace out, dumpers.
I thought you might throw your own.
I like that.
Okay.
I'll just co-opt it.